Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to another exciting Propagandacast to the Monday Novice Fight. We shall be watching a pair of novices fight. So, of course, if that is too much for you, avert your gaze, look somewhere else, or shut up. I'm sick and tired of people going, "Oh, this is poor play." Well, what were you expecting? That's like crossing a red light on a highway and expecting apparently not to get hit by a car. Good lord. Good lord indeed. I mean, really, if you're going to come here to learn, at least, show some ability to think. Anyways, we are noting here a pioneer start from Pigzy. Yes, indeed, Pigzy fighting for the Germans for some ad hoc Kampf group rolling out. Lost in the times. And Majorbookworm fighting for the 215th Rifle Division. My apologies at the slight lash out there, those who apparently manage to always complain about the Monday Novice Fight, but it's just something that utterly baffles me. How someone can apparently complain about it. It's like buying vanilla ice cream and complaining it tastes of vanilla. What were you expecting? Anyways, MG42 on the way. And of course, we're noting here that Pigzy is eyeing up the two pioneers. Of course, he's hoping to gain some territory initially, and might be hoping to have the MG42 secure up territory, but at the same time he needs to be careful then, since he can very easily lose the front line, since the pioneers are not exactly frontline troops here in Company of Heroes 2. And thus, of course, can't handle everything. Question is, will Pigzy be aware of that? In the meanwhile, Majorbookworm is already gaining a nice chunk of the map. North and south, already halfway there. The Germans slowly progressing. Conscripts moving out, getting a grenadier squad right there for Pigzy. MG42 moving out, might try and make a rush for that house. Pioneers following up. And there we go, northern fuel point secured. Southern one's going to be falling into the Soviet hands as well soon enough. Pioneers making a rush for the conscripts. Conscript quickly running up behind the house. MG42 setting up inside the building. Could it perhaps? Yes, indeed, it can fight the conscripts and suppresses them. More pioneers might be rushing in any time soon to finish off the vile conscripts. Combat engineers might want to move up there. Also, fun thing to note, troops that are suppressed also become a little less combat effective. I believe they shoot slower or are less accurate, I can't remember which. So of course there's a chance for some things like pioneers to actually gain an advantage as well. And there we go. Friedrich went down in the snow. And they're going to setting up to flank the conscript squad. Another pioneer squad moves in close, and MG42's it up. And there we go, conscripts already suffering heavily under a deluge of bullet fire. Down to 2 men. In the meanwhile, Soviet forces are storming into the center. Conscript squad could have been flanking up here towards the MG42, but for some reason Majorbookworm just has the conscript standing about freezing. And now, of course, it's too late, and already here Pigzy's going to realize what's going on and shift. So in that case, Majorbookworm was too slow. Grenadiers hiding. MG42 looks to be making a run for the house. Another MG42's out. A mortar on the way as well now. Getting into the building, right in front of the conscripts, and a Molotov goes off straight into the front part of the building. And already there, several of the MG gunners are catching on fire. This is very bad for Pigzy. He needs to get that MG42 out of the building. Come on, come on. Schnell raus. And apparently simply too late. MG42 crew is wiped out. Conscripts here getting murdered by the MG42, pinned to the ground right in front of it, but getting off another Molotov. So rather brutal fighting. The Soviets are losing ground. The Germans are gaining it for the time being. Despite a few indiscretions from Pigzy's behalf, but again Majorbookworm at some rather important junctures just decided to stand about doing nothing. Did not capitalize on some of the initial mistakes already here committed by Pigzy, again having a much more static force, and of course with the loss of an MG42, I mean that's already going to be hurting quite a bit, and we're in fact seeing him taking up right now. Support weapon company up for Majorbookworm. Troops are reinforcing, troops are moving out. So a bit of quiet there.
holds the victory point. We have been granted access to superior
Bit of quiet.
arms, and enemy forces are securing our territory.
Going for the victory points, where we already see that Pigzy has quite an advantage there. Pioneers taking up position in this building. This is perhaps less useful since they can only really cover here and here. The Soviets are likely going to be coming from here, in which case they can't really fire back. And again, Majorbookworm does it. He has units standing about doing nothing. He should keep moving, Schnell. No, I know, Davai, I don't know. Russian is exactly not my forte. Ignoring the Pioneers, going to set after the Grenadiers. Another MG42 out for Pigzy. Mortar, not really doing much. Not entirely sure what he's intending to do with it. And another conscript squad standing about doing nothing. Majorbookworm might want to get moving instead of just standing about. He seems to many times break down, unsure what to do, which basically the only thing you can really do is just force yourself, you know, to just make orders, constantly keep it up. It's about training, and for training you just have to keep on doing it. You just have to try. What you shouldn't be doing is, of course, just standing about doing nothing, which is currently what Majorbookworm is doing an awful lot of. He's constantly got some sort of infantry squad not fighting or doing anything at all, which is unsurprisingly not really good and not working out for him at all. Because while Pigzy's got a bit of a rubbish unit composition, he's at least doing something with his units half the time. He's actually trying to keep up some pressure, trying to keep up some movement, which does gain him some sort of advantage, because that means there's more likely to actually catch Majorbookworm off guard, whereas Majorbookworm is more likely to just be caught off guard, because he has units constantly standing out somewhere silly, doing nothing. Conscripts forced away, and already here we're noting he's gone Jaeger armor within the first few minutes. He's gone for Jaeger armor. Will he actually be able to use anything of the doctrine? Or shall it be another miserable failure? Mortar crew out there, no Maxims, no field guns, no anything, and we're already seeing here a vehicle out. Like to make a nice company up, and we're seeing a half-track coming up for the Germans. And getting upgraded with a flamethrower upgrade. And another MG42, barely an infantry, but several heavy machine gun crews. And rather getting the impression that Pigzy is just going after what he thinks works, which is just basically, well, it shoots lots of bullets, and then seems to apparently does not really think any further than that, not caring about mobility or anything like that, which rather is a bit the hallmark of a novice.
Enemy forces are securing our territory.
Majorbookworm needs to again get forces moving. Again, lots of units standing about doing nothing. Come on, Majorbookworm, get moving. And these conscripts need to get out of there. Come on, man.
The enemy is attempting to steal our sector. It is
and there we go. He has forgotten an entire conscript squad again. Majorbookworm needs to get better at actually managing troops. His command and control skills are primarily what I would say needs to be worked on. I mean, half the time again there's just units doing nothing at all. He needs to work his way towards just being able to keep things going before he can even, say, begin improving on any other aspect as well. And again, that's basically just going to come down to raw training, just constantly forcing yourself to do it until it becomes nature to you, part of it, without having to think about it. Because currently again he's losing a lot of units, he's losing a lot of opportunities, he's losing a lot of time with, again, units often standing about doing nothing at all. Nothing at all. And that really should not be happening at all. That really ought to be something you should be able to identify yourself and get sorted out as quickly as possible. You know, mach schnell with such issues. There we go, anti-tank grenades against this half-track. Conscripts need to get away. My coup is excellent, yeah.
Germany now holds the victory point.
Your flamethrowers are also excellent.
The blizzard is gone.
Barely any infantry still.
Dina's lips froze to the tube.
Stina's lips froze to the tube. Isn't Stina a girl's name? Of course, in Germany it might be slightly different, or it might be a part of something else, I know. But in Denmark it's definitely a girl's name. But again, I might be hearing wrong. I know. Grenadiers moving in there for the southern victory point. Another half track out, another flame for a half track, and a sniper on the way for the Reich. And again, Major Bookworm's units are just doing nothing. Now we're seeing a mechanized armor company going up.
Receiving mortar fire. Standing by. Flammpanzerwagen ready.
Flammpanzerwagen, come on, turn the field gun, turn it, don't move it, turn it, turn it! When you've got something like that moving towards you, you do not move towards it, you just turn towards it! What are you doing, Major Bookworm? For someone who apparently seems to be fond of reading, you might want to read up on some tactics.
Sharpshooter has arrived.
And there we go, looks like he might go down, and there's some rifle bullets pierce. And there we go, the flame for a half track is actually abandoned. That's quite fortunate right there for Major Bookworm, quite fortunate. Merging with the field gun, that's actually good, again, that's what you should be doing. And then recruit the half track, recruit it with the conscripts, reinforce them at the half track. Come on. Popping over though to Major Bookworm with a doctrinal choice of nothing as of yet.
Red Army, at your engineer standing by.
Another conscript squad on the way, he's got 3, come on, recruit. There we go, and reinforce. Instead he retreats. Why? You can still reinforce from this thing. Really make no sense. In the meanwhile, we are seeing that Pigzy is securing a nice chunk of the map now, due to the inactivity of Major Bookworm as previously discussed.
Our points have fallen to 300.
Of course, what Pigzy needs to do, of course, is also mine it all. Mines, S-mines, whatever kinds of mines are available shall be used in the defense of the Reich.
Off track here. Conscripts here.
If it wasn't for the fact that the enemies of the Reich are apparently incredibly slow enemies of the Reich. Yeah, I think that they have maybe eaten too much borscht. Anyways, Grenadiers supported by a sniper team. That works out quite nicely. Of course, upgrading Grenadiers with a light machine gun always pays off. Popping the Pioneers into the building again. I'm not entirely sure what fondness Pigzy had of this shed. Perhaps memories of a summertime dalliance. Who knows? Building here getting blasted. Building, in fact, very close to collapsing. Sheds are never known for their incredible durability towards field gun fire. Come on, move the flame for a half track, Major Bookworm. Again, Major Bookworm seems to have about the same speed and agility of a worm. And I don't think bookworms were never known for that. Field gun fire actually managed to clear up the sniper. That's actually quite well done. But again, I mean, as soon as that flame for a half track was ready, he should have just rushed it in, done as much damage as possible. Bit of a shame there, Grenadier down. Troops reinforcing. Come on, use the flame for a half track, Major Bookworm. Push! Push, damn you. And again, it happens. Units being forgotten, units not moving, units standing about doing nothing at all, not achieving anything with all the resources he has at his disposal. Catching 2 MG42s with a flame for a half track, that could definitely work out, and a mortar. Vicious work, vicious work. Mortar crews lighting on fire. And now the house has become the next. Oh dear, popping out of the house right in front of the flame for a half time. That's generally perhaps not the best of ideas. MG crew might go down. Flame for a half track will need repairs though. Ooh, another MG42 caught. But But again, just note all the units Majorbookworm has that are doing nothing.
Unit count is increasing.
So many units not achieving anything in HV85 arriving. And already there we have a weapon that Majorbookworm, or for that matter Pigzy, could be seizing upon and use against either the Bolsheviks or the Fascists. Come on, that's an MG42, you want it.
The enemy has found us!
But again, no support moving up. The mortars not moving up to support. The conscripts are not. The field gun is not. Again, also lack of coordination going on here with Majorbookworm. But again, just so many units doing nothing. So many units doing nothing.
Blizzard conditions are imminent.
And an MG42 actually nicely flanking there. Well done, Pigzy.
Engaging us! We are bleeding, comrade!
Mortar firing away.
Get us out of here!
Assault gun ready off here.
Will Majorbookworm actually react with some alacrity? There go, flame for a half-tech to the rescue.
We have the point secured, but the enemy
Looks like another MG42 is going to go down. Pigzy not getting much of his flame for a half-tech. He's not even repairing it. Oh, good lord.
enemy troops!
Things are quickly falling apart here. As the flame for a half-tech continues its reign of terror, and the German one moves in as well. Although H85 quickly sorts that one out because he actually has anti-tank, and for some reason, whatever reason, Pigzy has decided not to bother with even getting a pack despite knowing his opponent has his flame for a half-tech, and it's done so for some time. Also looks like that small shit has caught on fire and went from being a shit to being a furnace. Flamethrower half-tech just continues to pour hot fire as everything, well, basically lights on fire. The buildings are ablaze. The men are burning as well. This is all terrible. Terrible. And another MG crew might go down.
If they freeze to death, they cannot die fighting the enemy.
And lots of units apparently freezing to death as well. And of course a lot of units doing nothing, with Majorbookworm floating quite a bit of resources.
Infantry firing on our vehicle.
Scout car arriving.
Fresh meat has arrived!
Off track. We have 200.
Grenadiers might want to retreat. Come on, Pigzy, unit preservation. The ability to preserve your units without wasting them.
Enemy infantry down.
Much too slow there. Scout car arriving on the scene. Doesn't have as much to worry about from flamethrowers.
The enemy is encroaching on our territory.
Upgraded scout car. Will he be able to hunt down the flamethrower half-tank and end
Blizzard is passing.
that which killed so many Germans? House collapses. H85 moving up to support. And Pigzy seems to have barely any units lost because again he simply wasted so many, because again he wasn't prepared for the unit he knew about for quite some time by now. And already we also noting here that Majorbookworm is quickly bleeding out of victory points. Scout car almost went down one hit, and we also noting here the guards rifle doctrine up for Majorbookworm, who again has units standing about doing nothing, not pushing, not being aggressive, not harassing, not anything, and it just keeps on happening, it seems. Also, the scout car hasn't been pulled back to the base. I have no idea what he's trying at here. H85 rolling through a rain of mortar shells, and looks like it will be catching the scout car and ending its life. And no, damaged engine, and it actually ends up abandoned. And of course, in which case, unless he actually intends to recover it, he should just, you know, attack round on it, destroy it. Basically, if you can't recover any vehicle, you should destroy it. You don't want your opponent to get his hands on it.
We are targets!
I would describe that as a pretty solid rule of thumb. And an MG4 chopping off, stopping the conscripts as Majorbookworm tries to make some attempt at regaining victory points,
Taking losses!
which are quickly draining out.
Suppress!
And popping back to Pigzy, he's got barely any units left. He's only got 3 Pioneer Squads, an MG42, and a mortar. No infantry, that is. He's lost again a lot of equipment, a lot of MG42s. I think we're talking 3 or 4 already. Yeah, in fact 4, which really ought to be a poor statistic and really ought to have Pigzy pull his things together. And also now, 20 minutes into the game, he's finally getting an anti-tank gun, despite having the flame for a half-track rampaging against him for quite a part of the match now. That really shouldn't have been happening. That really should not have taken that long. You should always have some sort of anti-tank response out by at least 10 minutes. Preferably a bit before, just in some cases. Again, depends on what you see from your opponent, but still. And this is deplorable, this is bad, this really should not be happening, yet it is. And again, Majorbookworm progressing rather slowly, building fuel caches here instead of there, that is closer to his base, safer. Also noting as a heavy panzer corps up now for Pigzy and his Kampfgruppe. Nothing else really going on. Very quiet. Pack advances with support gunners.
We have a fresh grenadier squad.
And nothing else seems to be happening. Nothing else at all. No movement. Again, Majorbookworm showing the same alacrity of a worm. Nasty hit there on this flame for a half-track damage engine going in against the pack crew, and of course veterans fleet gets increased damage, meaning it's really going to be able to tear through German infantry. Yes, there we go, pack down. And looks like he's finally getting some grenadiers. Finally. Oh, mortar round took out the veterans fleet flame for a half track. A tragic loss for the Soviet Union. Desperate fighting here. Majorbookworm has certainly pushed Pigzy back, but can he actually hold it? Or will he lose it like he did the first time around, when he had the advantage there? Stuka bombers ready. Conscripts here getting flanked by an MG42. Oh, that was a quick retreat there. Could have been otherwise lost the entire squad to a mortar round. And already 11 kills with this German mortar, this Granatenwerfer. Well done, well done. It looks like we're seeing a tank battalion command up. T-34's arriving, who could also gun himself some Su-76s and just basically bombarded his opponent, which could have worked probably just as nicely. Of course, the question is, will Majorbookworm actually be able to use his tanks? We'll just be sitting around with them, just as Pigzy's in fact getting a tank of his own, a Panther. Panzer 5. Support armor corps has been ignored, skipped. Over to the mid-game analysis. Concentration obviously not very good for Pigzy. Majorbookworm was once more pushed him back. Again, Pigzy, poor unit preservation, poor unit composition. Way too slow in getting any kind of anti-tank, and much too light on infantry. So I mean, really a lot of problems there. But again, the reason he's still in the game is due to the fact that Majorbookworm is reacting very slowly. He's leaving several units behind, which has rather allowed Pigzy to return, because at least while Pigzy is playing poorly in many regards, he's also playing aggressive, which allows him to constantly catch Majorbookworm off guard and push him back, because again, there's very little cohesion in Majorbookworm's forces and very little response to when things are actually happening. And can basically command and control problems with Majorbookworm, which is overall hindering his overall game. But when he actually gets it together, he's able to punish Pigzy quite severely and actually push forwards. Of course, Pigzy with the Panther might be able to break through Majorbookworm, though. Since again, if Pigzy can use it properly and support it, it's going to get very, very painful. And the question is, will Majorbookworm actually be able to coordinate and rally his forces in response to that, or will it just fall apart? So that is a rather intriguing question which awaits us there. But for Pigzy, he needs to push back, he needs to get towards the victory point, of course, and otherwise keep up the pressure, get some action in and shout, support his tanks, and use his doctrine. For Majorbookworm, he needs to work on his cohesion. Again, that's the main problem. Otherwise, focus around the victory points and do his best to hold back the opponent, work his forces towards something, perhaps even consider getting an IS-2 since he went for that doctrine. But let's return to the fight. Recon run on the move here from Pigzy. And a blizzard sets in. And the S-35 was wasted like that. Why didn't you pull it back, Majorbookworm? Why didn't you pull it back? Good lord. Unit preservation, have you heard of it? You don't leave something like that to just be blasted by an anti-tank gun. What on earth was going through his head? So Mortar's bombarding his positions. Panther pushing up north. MD-42 getting pushed back. And the Molotov clearing out the MD-42. Well done there by Majorbookworm, but the Panther is flanking his conscripts. The machine gun is tearing into them. And there we go. Conscripts moving up, taking losses, and anti-tank grenade damaging the engine of the Panther. Troops are dying of the cold. Pigzy, you haven't moved this Pioneer or Mortar crew somewhere else, or at least gotten a fire pit up to it. And it's so close to F-72, it's simply a waste, Pigzy. A waste. Good lord. More T-34s out. But again, a severe lack of any movement or response. And there we go, the mortar is dead. Wasted by Pigzy. Like so much else, I fear.
Soldiers are freezing. Move them to cover immediately.
More fuel caches up for Majorbookworm, but again, get your forces moving. Again, it's happening once more. Pigzy's just basically given free rein to do whatever he wants because Majorbookworm is reacting not at all. More infantry is arriving at the same time to support Pigzy and his forces. While once more Majorbookworm seems more content to reading in his books.
Germany now holds the victory point. The new Grenadier squad is ready.
Come on, Bookworm, react! Act! Something! Can't just sit about doing nothing, man. Yet he seems insistent on doing that.
Blizzard is passing.
There we go.
Normal weather.
Blizzard ending. Mortar getting hit directly by the MD-42, getting pushed back. There we go. Pack firing away there. Veteran 2 meaning increased damage. Don't have the T-34 try to slug it out, and there go ramming speed, knocking out the main gun of the Panther. But apparently the engine is still okay, actually, surprisingly enough. T-34 crew abandons the tank. Other T-34 down.
Is succumbing to the cold.
Pioneers dying of the cold. Still no response from Majorbookworm. Now fuel gun firing in artillery mode. But again, so many units standing about doing nothing.
T-42s have arrived. You have soldiers freezing. Is that a reflection of your command capabilities?
This is a nice spot of land.
Come on, Majorbookworm, get moving.
Ready for orders.
Grenadiers ready.
I mean, this is not building a lot of useless stuff, but all this inactivity, this doing nothing, this lack of response all the time from Majorbookworm is really bothering me. I mean, how can someone just have most of his army keep on doing nothing like that? Looks like night machine guns are now being equipped for the Grenadiers. Definitely positive news for Pigzy's men there. There we go, Panther is battle ready again, but already coming under fire from the field gun. All to veteran 2, some veteran 3. And looks like some incendiary artillery might be called in. There we go. Mortar catching on fire.
I will wonder what hit him now that we have MG42.
Be careful with that veteran 3 pack, although now the field gun is also veteran 3. I mean, that's definitely also going to be doing a lot of damage. There we go, Panther almost down. H-85s gets the kill. Panzerwerfer arriving at the very same time, though. And another reconnaissance overflight. Pioneer squad down. Molotov on the pack, 43. Come on, Pigzy. Oh, too late anyways. And looks like a Stuka bomb is getting called in, or bomb strike, whatever. The Jericho trumpet can be heard. Ooh. Got the mortar, nothing else though. T-34 not receiving repairs, tragically so. Hopping back to Majorbookworm. As his troops, and still floating so much manpower, he's got 1400, good lord, use it man, get some stormtroopers, get something. You should not be floating around that much manpower no matter what. Again, if that's also a problem, basically just come down, just spend it and then learn how to spend it afterwards. But don't stand about with 1500 manpower. Do not do so. There are no excuses for that.
Your orders,
None whatsoever.
waiting for your command. We are losing supplies to the enemy.
I mean, he could just easily get a flamethrower tank and just burn his way through most of it. But again, Majorbookworm is just so inactive. So little happening. So little actually being done. It's incredible. You would think he'd be more active. You'd think he'd be trying to do something.
We have now installed a field hospital at headquarters.
Yet again, so many times where just nothing happens. Where he's got large parts of his force standing about, not achieving anything. It's quite distressing. And heavy machine gun fire quickly stopping a conscript squad.
Blizzard conditions are imminent. Mortar team has arrived.
T-34 quickly following up by combat engineers. The Panzerwerfer.
We've been targeted.
Not really worthing any panzers at the moment.
has taken our supply sector.
We are bleeding, comrades!
Quick Molotov there. Conscripts retreating and moving straight into the Molotov fire that was, and setting up in it. Come on, Pigzy. Pay attention to what's actually going on. Hauptmann, is that a good idea? I do not care. If you do not move into this fire, I will have you shot. Jawohl. And just spamming a lot of T-34s, not even getting a KB-8, which could have burned through most of Pigzy's infantry. Ach du lieber.
New units have arrived.
And now every single victory point has been lost and he's doing nothing to recover them. Again, Majorbookworm is simply so slow.
T-34, crude, loaded and ready.
Order crew ready. Be brave, comrades!
We are as ready as we can be. We have been reduced to 25 points. Failure is not rewarded.
Getting a Katusha, but how about getting some shock troopers moving them ahead? Panzerwerfer firing a barrage. Getting a single kill with that. Perhaps not the most effective.
We have the point. Conscripts here.
5 squads of conscripts, yet they still manage to mostly just stand about doing nothing.
Reports of your soldiers
And no fire pits being set up, so they just freezing to death. Come on, Majorbookworm, unit preservation.
Katyusha now available.
And there we go, the Katusha has arrived.
The rockets haven't frozen to the rails.
So few points left.
Enemy is reduced to 200
Just going to
points.
speed this up. Since again Majorbookworms and activities rather mean this game is taking probably longer than it should.
Conditions clear. The blizzard is gone.
Large infantry assault straight into a T-34. No anti-tank weapons to kick, an incendiary barrage to stop it all. Well spotted there, well reacted. Lots of infantry being caught in it, and we're not seeing Pigzy retreat from it. In fact, he's losing entire squads right there.
Well done, comrades.
And there we go, Panzer squad and MD crew wiped out. All of a sudden he's down to 4 squads of grenadiers. Everything else was lost. Situation stabilized, and we do see a pack getting up. This being many of the different variants, one of the many different variants there was of basically the Katyusha rocket launcher. That was the one on this kind of truck. They had other different types of trucks. They even had one mounted on some light tanks.
There, comrade.
Not so bad.
Are you going to pave the way to Berlin with the
A bit like how the Germans would also mount them on tanks in case of the Nebelwerfer, which created the Stukas of Fuß, or for example how we got the Panzerwerfer, which is also one basic variant of that sort of design.
Standing by.
Careful here, careful. Of course we can get behind the pack. The pack's pretty much useless. And that looks to have happened, so well done there by Majorbookworm. A small victory for the motherland. Now we go, pack the crew, grenadiers moving forwards, all equipped with light machine guns. That's definitely going to do something against infantry. Less so against a T-34 though. Looks like another Panther has arrived, rushing ahead. Ready to rush to the defense of the fatherland.
Incoming round!
T-34.
And quickly recruiting the pack. At the same time, looks like Majorbookworm is launching an offensive. Catching the oh, there we go. Panzerwerfer down, Panzerwerfer down. Montendier artillery getting called in right here. Looks like he's going straight for the base. Grenadier squad lost.
This land belongs to all of us! We can't advance under this fire!
T-34 taking fire! Secure.
Not entirely sure what some of these tanks and tank destroyers are doing. And of course Pigzy is playing a bit cautiously because if he tries to hit just with the Panther, it's going to get knocked out very quickly. Needs that pack ready to fire down as well. And we're actually seeing he's making a rush for the victory points. Well done. He's going for the one victory that Pigzy probably has a chance of because again he rather wasted a lot of units senselessly. Anti-tank grenades going off. Scout corrupt for some reason from Pigzy. Come on, Pigzy, make a move for the southern victory point as well if you're going to do all that. And the Panther is lost. Panther is lost. 10 victory points left. Majorbookworm, though, is as usual not reacting to this rather startling development, which you really should consider. Keep your eyes on the ball, gentlemen, which includes the victory point. In particular, when you're that low. In which case, it doesn't matter how many units you have if you're not focusing them on the victory points. And Pigzy's barely got anything left. Again, his poor unit composition, poor unit preservation has overall crippled him. And the reason he's still in the fight is due to the fact that Majorbookworm reacts incredibly slowly.
We must defend our headquarters.
3 points left. 3 points left there. Can Majorbookworm bring death and destruction? Could he just decide to, oh, I don't know, launch an attack on the base and begin wrecking it with his tanks and tank destroyers and anti-tank guns? Or will he do nothing? Just going to be speeding this up.
We're losing men!
Because again, Majorbookworm's ability to react is again perhaps not the best one.
Our HQ is under attack.
2 T-34s moving up. Panzer gunner is getting blasted into the dirt. The T-34s are definitely causing a great toll on the German infantry. And there we go, Pigzy once more back to having barely any infantry left alive. Suffering insane losses.
Our base is under attack.
Speeding things up again. That's again, well, not really much happening. And Majorbookworm is not doing anything to secure this victory point as well. He knows if even... And he's not even defending the southern one. Come on, Majorbookworm. So eyes on the target.
Our brave infantry is dying.
Come on, contest the point, but no, he's not even doing that. And there we go, Majorbookworm lost. The 215 Rifle Division has lost. All thanks largely to Majorbookworm himself. Again, his major mistake was poor command control skills. Constantly having units standing about. His unit composition was alright, good infantry, good tank support, all that, but he just didn't use it half the time. What's the point of it if you're not using it so many times? He would throw away opportunities just because he had units standing about doing nothing again and again and again. That should not have been happening even remotely. Yet it did, and that ultimately cost him the fight. Even here, when points were ticking down, he did not react even remotely to contest the point. So again, what Majorbookworm needs to work on more than anything else is just doing things. do them. Just order around, even if initially it doesn't make sense. Just do it until you can do that, and then you can begin to direct them towards useful orders. But you should not have that many times where units sent about doing nothing, where you're floating 1,500 manpower, all that. I mean, that was just terrible. That really should not have happened at all. And for Pigzy, the composition and his units of, well, that was just terrible. He has so many machine guns, yet he never recruited a single one when he lost them, because again, he could barely control them. Barely any infantry. He would throw units into impossible situations, get them killed. Tanks were used poorly. I mean, basically, lots of terrible things, and the only things that allowed him to win this fight is, again, the utter inactivity of Majorbookworm, which really ought to say something about how much it matters to actually play aggressively. Because, again, if you're playing incredibly passively, you will lose like that. So there you go. I sincerely hope you learned something from this match. If you did, why not subscribe, tell your friends. If you didn't, well, why not replay your own, provide some feedback in the comments. This is Imperial Dane saying cheers.